So as promised yesterday, I said we would address Jared O'Mara stepping down as an MP and the statement he has provided. Tomorrow it's going to be Nicola Sturgeon meeting Boris Johnson. I promise. It is just too, delicious to avoid. So, the statement regarding my mental health and recent events. This is from jaredomara.co.uk. It's an official statement. Statement regarding my mental health and recent events. In a few weeks, I will be making a follow-up statement regarding my position. Until then, I will be taking time out to receive professional help to deal with my mental health and personal issues regarding self-medication. During this time, I would appreciate you could give myself and family privacy. Press X to doubt? With the privacy part, not him getting help. In fact, that's something I wanted him to get in the first place. And that he stand down, because he's unfit for office. Just going to say this now, by the way. This beat Nick Clegg. Just want to put it out there. It amuses me that Nick Clegg annoyed his constituents so much they chose a literal nobody with 2 weeks' notice. This is what I would like to say in the meantime. I would like to start by apologising to my family, my friends and my constituents. I have not been honest with you about the depths of my depression and self-loathing. When I started this job in 2017, I was a different man. A confident and passionate man that wanted to help others. Sadly, I was unable to do that because very quickly I was bullied and mistreated in a harsh and unforgiving environment. That led me to be weak. If I didn't know any better, I would say you are now making an excuse. Or you had a jaded perspective on what you thought an MP was like. They are all snakes. Self-serving snakes. 2020, everyone, no lives matter. I wasn't even meant to win the election. I stood because I wanted to give my time to support the democratic process and because I was inspired by Jeremy Corbyn and everything he had to say, particularly about equality and fairness. I voted for him twice, was a member of his group Momentum and practically idolised him. Oh, you poor thing. But I got no support from him or the National Labour Party during the campaign. The previous Labour candidate, Oliver Coppard, got funding and support nationally, but I did not. The efforts of a small group of dedicated grassroots activists working to help me with the campaign I led won that election for us. I will always be grateful to those amazing volunteers and all who voted for me. I don't get many people backing me, helping me and supporting me in my life, so it means so much when you do. Many people are going to say, yeah, this seems to make sense with Labour being what it currently is. Others will say, sack up. I'm refusing to do either because I know how important your mental health is right now. I'm just pointing those out because I know they're there. One person who constantly snubbed me and treated me less favourably than other people was Jeremy. He was the biggest shock of that election, not my victory. He was not the man I thought he was, nor that he appears to be, to the point that he and his team lied to you all last year. I was never let back in the Labour Party as they said, nor was I ever ordered to go on training or warned. Wow. Nice to see they really deal with those people who put out those homophobic tweets, right? I say this sarcastically because honestly it's tweets. I don't care. They wanted me to act like I was, when I was not provided with any details in writing about anything, and they wanted me to act like I was guilty of those allegations from the 2 women from the pub when I had submitted hard evidence and witness details that showed I was not. So I had no choice but to leave the party I loved. You aren't by chance straight and white now, are you? Within months of my appointment as MP for Sheffield Hallam, the smears happened and I fell into a self-destructive nosedive. During my suspension, Sam Matthews, his team were consummate professionals. But then Jeremy's office took over the case and I had to get a solicitor involved because of disability discrimination in order to get it back on track. Here's Bill Palsy. The discrimination made things even worse. My mental health deteriorated further and I isolated myself from family, friends and constituents. My actions became erratic and my thoughts became incoherent to the point where most recently I suffered a delusional episode. In May this year, I sent an email to Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn asking for help with getting equality in Parliament. Some MPs were parents who were not getting support and maternity or paternity cover, and I wasn't entitled to my rights under the Equality Act for adequate support for my disabilities, and as such was not provided with the safe and necessary environment for me to speak in the chamber. This was to serve as my olive branch to Jeremy for the bullying he and his staff had put me through, which caused me to leave the party in July last year. Jeremy and his office then offered me a meeting by letter, and by my parents' observations, I was visibly excited. Jeremy's office then promised to get in touch with me and offer a selection of dates on a certain day, but did not fulfill their promise. So I emailed the next day and let my disgust at their disrespect be known. Jeremy's response was to make false reports about me being a mental health danger around Parliament with a delegation of Labour safeguarding representatives and his staff. I know this because I have it in writing from the parliamentary doctor. I was not then a mental health risk at that point, but such gaslighting ultimately made me one. About 2 weeks ago I told a staff member I was in love with her during the aforementioned delusional episode. I'd been paranoid for weeks that if I was mad like Jeremy and his team said that I was then, I'd do something like that. The messages I said that were not of a sober or rational mind and felt like an out-of-body experience when I sent them, but I know that does not excuse my actions because I should not have been self-medicating with drink to get into that state. It was my lowest point and I will be apologizing personally to her and her family. I want to become a better person again, like I was. I feel I've become unrecognizable and want to make amends. I need treatment for my mental health and rest first, though. I will make a further statement about my future in a few weeks. He then continues to apologize to people involved, including Gareth from the last video we did. He paints a rather nasty picture of Labour. Of course, some of you might point out, during these delusional episodes, one must now account or discount depending on whether or not he was in a particular mental state when these incidents took place, or whether or not his mental health at all affects what he sees. I'm not going to be drawn into that. I do think, because I know this for a fact, Parliament does need to introduce some level of equality, because there isn't any for MPs. It's quite unusual. With maternity, paternity, mental health, it is genuinely one of the lowest priorities, and it doesn't make sense to me. Yes, you're serving in higher office, I get it. If it is to be true and believed what Corbyn did and did not do, that is a damning statement, and I am somewhat surprised that Theresa May didn't get involved. Then again, optics. If she did, she'd look even weaker, worse than she already was when she was the Prime Minister. My suggestion, as he himself will say when he releases his next statement, will be to stand down. You've done your part, and unfortunately it isn't for you. Your health is more important than the people. Maybe Nick Clegg could run again.